Oh, man. All right. My name is Kim, and I'm an addict. I love drugs. Welcome to everybody that's new. Congratulations, everybody that's coming back. Congratulations, everybody that took clean time. There was a lot of clean time in here. I love seeing everybody gathered here, even though it's burning hot. I am extremely nervous, but I was just told a second ago, I know half of you, so that's true, and probably going to be okay. I'm going to make it. I just want to breathe for a second. Just a second ago, he talked about the Spirit, and I think the Spirit that can be felt in here is what keeps me coming back. I'm a crier, so I'm just going to tell you, I'm definitely going to cry, and every time. But it's because I have so much gratitude for this program and the people that are here and the people that welcomed me in when I didn't think that I was welcome anywhere, and they loved me exactly where I was at. I didn't even know where I was at, and I'm really grateful for that. So I'll just get into it. All right, Kim, addict. So I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I grew up there, and I know, right? One whistle. Dallas, Texas is hot, just like it is here. And I have 3 older brothers. I'm the youngest, only girl, and my parents worked a lot. They were gone a lot, and I had some stuff happen when I was young, and I feel like it changed the trajectory of how I lived my life. And what happened is I gathered a lot of coping skills that I taught myself, and from there I learned how to live my life in fear and very independently, and that I had these belief systems that I didn't know I had, which was that nobody would take care of me, nobody cared about me, and that I was going to do it on my own, I was going to be fine, and then I just lived the rest of my life that way. And so what happened is that I started smoking cigarettes, started doing drugs when I was about 12. 13, I was doing other things. As it progressed, I was doing coke, and I almost didn't graduate high school, but I did graduate high school. I was smoking crack with my brother, and when I walked the stage, I was coming down from crack, which is awful, and then we went to Hooters afterwards, so this is how things were. What happened is that I had a best friend that I had most of my memories with when I was a teenager, and by the time I graduated high school, I was leaving the state. That was it. I graduated, I was out. I was moving far away from where I came from. I don't want to know anybody there. I don't want to see anybody. I want to talk to my family. And I moved out of state with a guy, and I just continued to make really interesting decisions from there. I decided to go to college at the first college that I found. I didn't stay long, and my problems followed me to the next state, and to the next school, and to the next job, and to the next set of friends, and to my relationships. I stayed in this relationship for a really long time. I had 3 kids with this person. I did a lot of moving around, so I moved from Texas to Missouri, and then Missouri wasn't working out, so I moved back to Texas, and then Texas wasn't working out, so then we moved to Tennessee, and then we moved back, and then we moved to Missouri again, then we moved back, we moved to Florida, came back, and then we moved up here because we saw a license plate that said Oregon, and we're like, oh, that's a sign, right? Like, we should move up here, and that's where I'm going, and so I ended up here, y'all know that makes sense, right? It's a sign from God, and I listen to that so often. So that's where I'm at. So we moved to Portland, Oregon. So it was going to be a good place to raise kids, right? I had 3. That's not true. I had 2. And then I had another one when I got here. So all of my kids are born in different states, Texas, Missouri, and Oregon, all with the same dad. But that was I just got lucky by chance that happened. The truth is that he's not in the picture anymore. He hasn't been for a very long time. So we moved here. I started working. I was working in nursing throughout that time. I was a CNA and a med aid, and I thought that was like my calling in life, and I really loved it. I did actually love helping people. I loved showing up. I loved being there. I really liked to connect with people, make friends, all that stuff, but I could never maintain it. I couldn't keep it. because inside everything was wrong. I was fighting at home. I was hiding what was really happening always, right? Like I'd come out here and I'd present to y'all that my life was good. Everything was fine. I'm a good mom. I'm a good wife. I'm doing all the things. And then I would go home and I would fight with him. We'd smoke crack. We'd sell the TV. We would fight. He would steal my purse. I would call the cops. Like everything was crazy. You know, it was chaotic and there was no peace, you know, and I would go to work and I would pretend everything was fine. But inside I would be like, God, I can't breathe, you know, I can't breathe. And the lies start to catch up to you, you know, when things explode, as reality does often slap you in the face, you know. I like to call those God shots, right? Reality hits, things that I don't really ask for but happen anyways, and usually to my benefit. I got caught up at my job. I'd been stealing medication for a year. I had a case built on me. They, arrested me, and I got some felonies, and I detoxed from drugs for the first time. Before that, I did not know that was going to happen. I had done lots and lots of drugs. Had never physically been dependent on one. So opiates are what brought me to my knees. I could not stop. And I put it all in front of my life. When I took them, everything at home was fine, right? I could be mom, I could be super mom. I was all the things I thought I was, right? I could bathe the kids, I could clean the house, I could not care if the husband was talking shit to me, I didn't care. Everything was fine. It was like matching up, you know? And when they were taken away from me, I don't even, the reaction that I had was so bizarre, you know, to any normal person out there, you know, that pull that like you cannot not get this drug, right? Like I will sell my soul to get this drug. I don't care if I leave the kids behind. I don't care if they're not eating. I don't care if my mom is crying. I don't care if the people are trying to stop me. Like I'm going to get it no matter what, you know, and I did. And so I lost my nursing license because of that. And I could not quit. I wouldn't give it up. They gave me a chance. They gave me nursing board probation. They put me in jail a couple different times over 5 years of probation. And I never could stop, you know. It got worse and worse. I got divorced. I lost custody of my kids. I would still go back home and I would still try to play house, you know. He would always let me come back. And it just progressively got worse and worse. At the end, you know, we were fighting physically. The house was scary. It was devastating. We were bringing stuff in from the trash can, and my ex-husband was I don't want to say tweaker, but his drug of choice was like more meth, and mine was like more heroin, and so we just didn't really. We kind of clashed a little bit, but he would bring stuff in from the dumpster into the house, and the house was full of stuff, and I don't like stuff, and yeah, it was really uncomfortable. But it was very noticeable, right? Like people knew what was going on. My kids were always down at different people's houses, and their parents didn't like us, and I couldn't figure out why. I was just in a lot of denial, you know, trying to cover stuff up, trying to make everything look okay. At the end, like I said, it just got worse and worse. I just couldn't get up one more day. Like my body hurt. I was an IV user. I had bruises on my body, sores on my body. I couldn't find a vein. It just didn't work anymore. It didn't matter. I couldn't even get well. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't get high enough to feel better. I couldn't even get well in order to like get up and do more, you know? So the drugs stopped working. I kept chasing them, but they stopped working long before I could quit. I hated them. I hated myself. I hated the lifestyle. I hated the people I was around. I hated that I could not take care of my kids. I hated that I would call my mom and tell her I was going to walk in traffic. Like I never could call and ask anybody how they were. Just what could they do for me, you know? How could you give me some money? Can you help me? Poor me, wham, all the time. I'm a victim. My life is awful, and I just want to die, you know? I was tired, you know? It's exhausting, emotionally, spiritually, physically. All the things that I had to do it was just enough, you know? I had been forced into treatment a couple times. I went from jail to DePaul twice, with the PO taking me there. And I'd be okay for a little bit. I'd get out and I'd do the same exact things, because I thought it was the drugs that were the problem, not me. If I could get away from the drug, then I would be fine. But see, the thing is that what I learned in here is that I am my problem, and everywhere I go, there I am. And if I wanted to do something different, I had to do what y'all do. And so I finally went to a detox one day. I don't even know why. It just hit me. I just knew I was done. I knew I was done. I was probably going to be taken back to jail soon, but there was still, that desire to stop everything. I went to detox, and I got in on the first day. I got really fortunate for that to happen. From there, they told me about another program. And at first I was really unwilling to go to another program. My plan was that I was going to go to detox and I was going to come back, watch the kids. He was going to go to detox and he was going to come back, and then we were going to live happily ever after, and life was going to go on and we were going to be, good. And that was the best idea that I had. And I'm really, really glad, like I said, that is not what happened. They told me that I was going to get into this other program. What I actually heard was, you're going to get an apartment, and you're going to get your own apartment. You're going to get to live there. It's going to be great. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to get a free apartment. Finally, right? That's what I've been looking for. And so I was like, well, how big is this apartment, right? Is it 2-bedroom? Can the kids come? I had all these questions, and they were like, just don't ask any questions. Just do the thing, right? So I was like, all right. This lady interviewed me to go to a program, and I lied to her. I told her I didn't have anything hold me back. I wasn't on probation. I just had nothing, right? I was just clean and free, and that was far from the truth, right? But I got really lucky that she believed in me when I couldn't tell the truth, and I couldn't be honest because I didn't even know how to be honest, I got into this program, and that first day she took me to a meeting at 3:00. Y'all probably know Recovery in the House at the Alano Club. First meeting I ever went to this time. And I sat down, and I was so uncomfortable, and I was like, why are we here? Can I just go to my room? And I want to hide. And I just got done detoxing. My hair was way more frizzier than it is now. And I was I don't even know. I was just sweating and uncomfortable, and I just listened to people talk as much as I could, but my head was so loud, I could not really hear what was going on. And they talked about a white key tag, and she was like, stand up. And I was like, I'm not standing up, not a chance. And she grabbed my pants and stood me up. And I was appalled, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, excuse you. But then this big giant guy gave me a hug, which was also terrifying. And I got my first white key tag. And I sat back down, and I didn't die, and it was fine, right? And that was my first meeting when I got clean on May 13th of 2014. And from there I was scared. I was really scared. I still had a plan that I was going to go home and do laundry. I had so many plans, right? I just knew what I was going to do, because isn't that how we come in so strong-willed, right? I know what I'm doing. I've been doing my life my whole life, right? I know how to live. I'm fine. I'm 30 years old, right? I got 3 kids. You can't tell me anything. I'm good, and that was not what happened. Again, I was told what to do. And basically they said, if you use one time, you were on the street. And I was like, well, shit, okay. Some more reality was where are you going to go? Reality. Your parents aren't letting you live with you then. You're not going to go back to Texas. You have no money or a phone. And you're going to go back to the house where you're using it, and start it all over again? What are you really going to do? And I'm starting to have these conversations with myself. And I'm already in the environment where I can be healthy, where I can be clean. So I'm like, oh, you're going to leave the place that you've been dying to get to, right? Okay. So I just went to another meeting, I was told that I had to go to a meeting every single day. I was a little upset about that, but I was also told I couldn't go to a meeting in the same place that I lived, which meant I had to get up and dress myself in the very few clothes that I had and go out in public in front of y'all. And I wasn't happy, you know. I was actually really mad. I was really mad at myself. I was really mad at what I had brought myself to, that I'd gotten so far from who I thought I was. But I was also noticing that this was a chance to rebuild myself, that I was given an opportunity, you know, that nobody had given me. No one had given me that opportunity, that like, I wasn't ready. That's not true. I'd probably been given these opportunities many times, but I was not ready to receive them. And when the time was right, like, it happened. And so I started going to meetings, and what happened was all these people were going to meetings too, and we just started like gathering together. And I made a whole lot of friends. Like, I made a lot of people in these rooms that have helped me since I got here. I mean, me and Rico used to work together in my first year clean, and like, I used to cry all the time. I wanted my kids back, right? Like, I had left the kids, I left the husband, I just let it be, right? Like, one of the hardest things I did was just leave it all behind. I didn't go back home and do laundry. I did not go home and like, I didn't call him, right? Like, I had a phone call with my mentor at the time that I was like that we did together, right? I was like, we're not together anymore. I'm not coming back home. This is not happening. We're not doing this. Like, I'm not doing this. I'm staying here. And I kept on. I kept putting one foot in front of the other, and I stopped throwing my cigarette butts, you know, in the street, and I started putting them out and put them in the trash can. And when I was walking to meetings, like, I stopped talking shit about everybody that I saw, and I stopped gossiping, right? And I would start like trying to be aware. We called it like painfully aware of ourselves, right? Like, so painfully aware of all the things that I think that are so off, you know. My thinking is so distorted, and I just didn't know it, you know. So like I said, I kept going to meetings, and my thinking started to change, you know. I met my sponsor through a girl that I was in treatment with. She introduced me. She took me to a speaker meeting actually like this, and it was a sponsorship sponsor. You share, and she shared, and so did my sponsor. And I met her there because she spoke, and she spoke to my spirit, and I cried the whole time. and she talked to me afterwards as I was still crying. And I have 3 daughters, and I didn't have them at the time, and she had 6 daughters. And she told me about her experience getting clean, leaving them behind, working towards getting them back, and it being more difficult than you think it's going to be. And she shared her hope with me, and it helped me keep going, you know, hearing other people's stories and the experience that they share in here. You know, we tell the truth, we tell each other what's real, like, we help each other walk through the hardest times of our lives, you know. I hear that saying all the time, like, God doesn't give you more than you can handle, but I've been told that that life gives you more than you can handle so that you can turn to God. And so that is what I know today, is that, like, I get walked through, I've been through this program, I can get through anything in life, you know. With those daughters I left, I didn't have them for 2 years, and in that time they said, work on yourself. And I started paying, it's not true. I got a job, and I started getting garnished, like, for everything over and over. God, I had like $400 a month for like 2 years straight. Oh God, I got garnished. But I just kept paying it back. Those are my amends. You know, I started calling my mom, asking her how she was doing, checking in with her, you know, and started building relationships back with my family, with people that were around me. I had to start talking to my kids, like, on the phone, and they had gotten left at our babysitter's house. That's the truth. They were not in DHS custody, but they should have been. But my kids' dad left them at their babysitter's house, and they couldn't have been left with a better family. He took off, and I started trying to make contact, you know, because I was clean. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing. I started going to court. I started showing up. I did exactly what she told me to do. I didn't fight. I didn't argue. I didn't say, fuck you, you owe me, none of that, which is like old me wants to come out and be like, I am entitled to my kids. But that was the hardest lesson I think I learned in these rooms, was that I am not entitled to my kids. I'm not entitled to anything in this life, right? Like, I have to work, and I have to give back. You know, in order to give, I have to forgive. If I want to be forgiven, I just have to show up, you know, and I have to act right. And the gifts happened that they ended up full custody with me 2 years after I had 2 years clean. Which means that I've had them for 7 years now. And they're 19, 18, and 16. And when I got them back, man, I wished for them so hard. They're the only things that I wanted in my life. I just wanted my kids back. And they came back to me, and they, man, they were something. They were angry. They were scared. They didn't trust me. They didn't know me. You know, they didn't even know who this person was. They thought I was lying all the time. I was like, no, I'm here, right? And they're like, yeah, fucking right. You're never here. You've never been here. Like, we don't know you. And that was a lot of work there too. You know, the program helped me through that. I've had friends that showed up like family, you know, that are still part of their family today, still show up for these kids, you know. My family, like I said, my mom lives in Texas, so I don't have any blood family in the state. And all the people in this program have helped me raise those kids, have showed up for those kids when they've gone to the hospitals, have showed up for those kids when they ended up in mental institutions, showed up for those kids through when I've been going through it, you know. It's been a blessing to be here, you know. I started working with a place called Hacienda for my financial stuff. I started building my credit once I stopped getting garnished. And as time's gone on, I have, let me back up. So after I had those kids and I started building a foundation with them, my life started to look a little different, you know, and I had to, I got into a relationship. That's what happened. My first relationship in recovery. And I stayed single for 5 years. I really wanted to work on myself. I really wanted to do all the things. And I did. I did a lot of things. And then at 5 years clean, I got into a relationship because I was like, I'm ready for this, you know. And I've worked steps, and I have sponsees, and I have a sponsor, and I do all these things, and I'm going to apply these steps in every area of my life. And what happened was that there was a lot of stuff to be revealed, and I didn't realize that I have a lot of other things that come out. Nothing brings out your defects better than another person, right? than a partner. So what happened was I started to compromise my own integrity, compromise my own morals, the things that I knew that I learned here that have kept me clean, right? Like being honest, being open, being willing, being there for other people, showing up. And I kind of stopped doing those things, you know. I think the most I did was go to meetings, to talk to my sponsor when I was having problems with him. And I feel like I'm really lucky I came out of that clean. We ended things recently, and that was really hard for me because I'm a people pleaser. I want everyone to be happy. I want to smooth things over just like I used to with my kids' dad. I want everything to be good all the time, right? Like I don't want conflict. I don't want to have hard conversations. I don't want to know about myself. I don't want you to tell me how the things that I've done wrong, because it's hard to admit those things, right? Like when you don't see them yourself and then other people have to tell you. You know, I'd gotten away from listening to others about myself, you know, and I really needed that being here. I was taught that here, you know. We're each other's eyes and ears. Like we get to save each other's lives in here. But I stopped wanting to hear it, you know. I don't want you to tell me about me. Fuck you. Look at you, right? and it wasn't awful, you know. There was no violence. There was none of that, right? So I'm like, oh, this is good because it's not my old life, right? It's not my past. It's not what it used to look like. So this is great. But my spirit was like dark, you know. I wasn't feeling happy. I wasn't feeling connected. I wasn't feeling all the things that I get here, you know. And so I ended that. And God, works in these interesting ways. And I was talking about working with this place called Hacienda for 5 years and building my financial credit. I paid back all my stuff. I built my credit up. I've budgeted for a long time. I've saved money. I've done all these things. And the day that I decided to split up with him, I got this down payment assistance, come through on the same exact day to buy a place. And it's just crazy, But see, the funny thing is that I know this. Being in this program, there's so many times that I've held on so tight to something. I'm like, this is the thing. This is the idea. I am here, and I can't see anything else. And every time I let it go, and I actually let it go. I don't say I let it go, but I actually let it go. Something comes in every time, and it's so much better. And I can't ever see it because I don't want to trust the process. I don't want to believe. And so now I'm buying my first place, and for me and my kids, and my closing date is July 12th, and I just moved out of my old house. Yesterday was the last day. All of our stuff is living in a pod. We're all staying at different friends' houses right now. And I took this leap of faith, I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but it's happening. and that is that's what this program has taught me. That God is good and he shows up all the time. Every time at the right time when it's supposed to happen, and when I'm ready to receive it, it's there, But I'm just so grateful for this program and the people that are in my life today. Even when life is hard, I have a beautiful, beautiful life. I just want to say, keep coming back. And all the little things that they say around here are true. I know, my last 5 minutes, I had something to read. I always forget to read because I get to talking. Oh man, I'm blind too. Here we go. I'm going to read right after I cry. That's a good idea. Okay. So this is one of my favorite things. I've heard it quite a bit recently, and this is just how I feel. I feel the total spirit of this program. It's in It Works How and Why, out of chapter 11, step 11, It says, we see that regardless of the presence or absence of material success in our lives, we can be content. We can be happy and fulfilled with or without money, with or without a partner, with or without the approval of others. We've begun to see that God's will for us is the ability to live with dignity, to love ourselves and others, to laugh and to find great joy and beauty in our surroundings. Our most heartfelt longings and dreams of our lives are coming true. These priceless gifts are no longer beyond our reach. They are, in fact, the very essence of God's will for us. My name is Kim. Thank you very much.